Yes?
This is the name.
Oh, not you again.
You've heard what is it?
Well, you heard right.
Forever?
Well, I don't know yet. I've just had to take on work, so I don't know how much time...
You need to help others take your place.
What?
You need to help people.
Help them with what?
You need to guide them and help them avoid mistakes.
And if I don't?
You know what that will be.
Hi folks, how are we? Are we well? Boy, have I got a special one for you today. Anyone who enjoys watching YouTube videos on DCS content is going to love this one. Folks, can we keep it quiet, please?
Sorry, sir.
Right, before we begin though, things for me are going to change, and as such, I won't have the time anymore to do the things that I love doing here on YouTube. At least at the frequency that I do them. I did hint a while ago, over Christmas I think, that this might happen, and it has. Now it's not goodbye. Oh,
Sound production, take 2.
It's not goodbye. I may still be able to do the odd video here and there, but it's at this moment I don't know how that will play out. But as a sending off of sorts, I thought I would take this opportunity to help those that are considering getting into making videos for YouTube, and in particular DCS videos. It's been an absolute fantastic experience and I've learned a lot, and I wanted to take this moment to share with you a sort of quick guide of things I recommend doing and not doing. Now to help me today is a very special guest, someone whose channel I admire and someone a lot of you already know. If you ever wanted to use a DCS channel as a benchmark, it's this guy. But before, what time is it now? But before we get into that, I think I just wanted to cover a few things first, just me and you. Right, rapid fire section, here we go.
There's Nillis. Almost there.
First of all, managing expectations. Okay, let's get to the big one and start the video in a negative way, eh? Yay! There's a tip right there, by the way. Don't be negative in your videos. I thought about that for this video, but I wasn't sure how else I could do it for this subject. Hell, good start. Over the last 4 months or so, I've had a few direct messages to me from some of you watching my channel asking a few questions about doing videos for YouTube. In particular, DCS videos. Some were questions about software, some about editing, others were about what subject to go over. But each and every one of you seemed a little shocked when I answered questions about payments. There seemed to be a huge misunderstanding about how YouTube works and how it pays you. Right. Earning on YouTube. Let's get into this. Let me just say right away, you're not going to be a millionaire. There you are, I said it. Let's just get that out of the way now. The amount of misconceptions I have seen, it's quite scary, and it seems that a lot of people are wanting to do it to get rich, or certainly thinking they will quickly. You won't. Not doing DCS videos anyway. The journey you're going to have to take in order to be successful doing YouTube videos, let alone DCS content, is huge, especially now as YouTube is always moving the goalposts, and they can do this at any time.
There's Las Vegas. Beautiful.
Does anyone remember the big apocalypse back in, I forget when it was now, 2010, 2015 or 16, something like that? I remember watching my favourite YouTubers and they were all in despair, wondering if they were able to continue. Many quit with reportedly up to 90% loss of earnings. Quite how accurate those figures are, I have to admit, it's hard to believe. You can find this information online, as you might expect. You might have been able to capitalise on early successes maybe 7-10 years ago, but not now. One of the things that is undisputable is that it's a lot harder today than it was back then for a content creator.
Up there.
Right. Can you actually make money from YouTube? Short answer, yes, but many of you will never get paid. The criteria you have to reach in order to get any money at all is very difficult to get to, especially nowadays for new starters. You need to get over 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours. Not just quick looks at your videos, but a decent amount of time watching each one. I forget what the cutoff now is, but don't get too excited. We are talking 1 pence or 1 cent, I think it is, per view roughly. I mean, give or take. Google takes a massive 45% of ad revenue off you and 55% for your short videos. And if you qualify to add membership to your account, bearing in mind, of course, you've got to create extra content for your members, Google takes 30% out of that as well. Oh, and if you do make any money, Google will only pay you if you make over $100 or £60. But look, we could go over how YouTube works, mention the YouTube Partner Program or YPP. It's a division called AdSense. It's what looks after your payments within YouTube. We can go into all of that, but really, in short, don't expect to make lots of money out of YouTube unless you do make it big and you get well over, I don't know, 400,000 subscribers, which could take you years to achieve. There's a few DCS content creators who've reached that milestone, and I have to say those that have my utmost respect and admiration, and honestly I stand and applaud you.
Alright, on final, Captain Mr. Calm.
Right, how else can I make money then? Well, okay, well, I know I've made it all sound pointless, and it's not to say you can't use YouTube as a platform to get noticed. The idea from YouTube's perspective nowadays is really to take a step back from paying you and instead give you, the creator, the tools to get sponsorships and make it easier to get affiliate programs going for your channel. So from third-party companies you can start to earn some money, basically selling their product. This in itself deserves a separate video, but in short, that is another way you can try and earn money. And that's why you see a lot of these most successful creators selling merchandise and discount codes for products. Now, if you're thinking, I don't care, Captain Mr. Calm, Mr. Negative, I'm going to get rich, watch me, then great, you know, go ahead, do it. But just read up on it first and manage your expectations so that you understand what you are likely to get, and don't get disappointed or disheartened by the journey you will have to take to get there. Right, getting started. Okay, with the negative stuff out of the way, let's get to the fun stuff. So you love flight sims and you want to make videos, but where do you start? What to produce, how to capture footage, and how to put it all together. Two things, software, and then deciding what you're going to create. Now the latter. I can't tell you what to create or produce, but I can tell you my experience on what I aimed to do, and you can see how that might help you. Talking of helping you, yeah. A special guest has just arrived. He's coming into land now. Right, calm down, everyone.
Oh
Quiet.
my god, it's Bogey Dope.
Okay, software. Lots of choices available, but for beginners dipping their toes into all of this, let's go down the free route as much as we can. After all, you don't want to invest in paying for software and then find out shortly after that you no longer want to do videos anymore, do you? So, besides, the software I recommend should be more than enough to get you started. You need capture software to record your footage, you need a video editor and an audio editor. Now the audio editor, it's primarily used to edit your own voiceover, which I advise you record separately to your video capture. That way you can remove a lot of the imperfections in your voice and redo words or rephrase a statement or a question if you get it wrong. You can remove a surprise call to dinner from your wife or your mom, or for you younger lads out there, your mom asking out loud why your socks are stuck together. You know, things you didn't realise were picked up in the background. Stops you having to redo the whole video, the whole thing again, and you can just edit that section that you're not particularly happy with. It just means you need to be careful how you put the audio over the top of the video and make sure you align it right. So that might just take a little mucking about just to make sure you get it in sync. Okay, so video capture, OBS or NVIDIA's own Shadow Play is the full screen capture software you need. I'm sure there are others out there, but those are the two that I know of. OBS is what I use. I tend to record things in 2560 by 1440p, as I don't quite have the horsepower for DCS for full screen 4K capture. Video editor I recommend is, just to get started, is CapCut. The only issue with it is what data it's acquiring about you and your computer and everything else. I'm not sure what it's capturing. There's a big thing about it. Some of you might not give a damn about that, and I personally don't really care, but some might, so that might put you off. They offer pro features. They're locked behind a paywall, but honestly, for basic editing, it's what I've used, and it should be more than enough. The audio editor is Audacity. It's lightweight, but it's a very powerful tool. Excellent bit of software, that. And just for cutting out stuff, it's pretty straightforward. It's got advanced features, but just don't worry too much about those at this stage. As I say, there are other bits of software out there, but that will certainly get you started. Plenty of help files out there too, and for beginners it's really easy to get into. I mean, I did it when I started putting these videos together, so you definitely can.
Alright, Captain Mr. Calm, here we are. Line coffee, please.
Oh my god.
Okay then, so what to create? I mean, what are you going to do then? So you've got all this stuff, you're ready to record, but what are you going to do? Well, for those just wanting to have a blast and not take it too seriously, in other words, you're not trying to get into YouTube to make money, you're not trying to, you just want to give it a go, then all I would say is just go for it. Have your flights, have your fun, record it, voiceover or not, and work it out as you go along. I discovered as I watched DCS videos that there seemed to be a divide of either sort of tutorial based, either on the aircraft equipment or how to dogfight, and then on the other end was the cinematic videos, but not both. So I thought I would give it a go and try and bring informative entertainment and cinematics into one. That was my mindset and my objective right as I began to feel confident on making, to my mind at least, half decent videos. I've learned a lot since then. The only problem is that making cinematics, the scenes that I do, the action shots, they take far too long to put together. I mean, the latest video I did, What is a Dynamic Campaign, the action sequence you saw in that took over 3 days to put together for a total of around roughly 1 minute long, so not the quickest service to offer people. Whilst I tried to find a gap in the offerings, I don't think, to my mind at least, that it mattered really. At the end of the day, people watch your channel for you as well. So if you decide to do tutorials on how to dogfight, it doesn't really matter that it's been done many times before, by other people. Your take on it is unique to you. If you enjoy doing them, carry on with it. I mean, you will find what comes to you as you begin to experiment. For others though, that want to give the whole YouTube a go and want to make something out of it and treat it a little bit more seriously and build something from it, then I would say this. YouTube is about you providing your viewers with a service. Either entertain them or inform them. Two fundamental ideological processes there. You can do both, but each video you create needs to cover at least one of these principles. And if you don't, you won't get the views, trust me. But listen, don't just take my word for it. I happen to have someone here who is far more qualified to comment on this very subject. Here he is, the man himself, Bogey Dope. Sir, how are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I have to say straight away, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I tell you, I'm quite excited about this. Just to let the viewers know, just to be sort of transparent here, is that you and I had a brief chat, didn't we, earlier on in the week about doing this, and you are just basically, at the kindness of your heart, just giving an hour or so of your time to be with me here today. So yeah, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, not a problem.
I honestly didn't actually expect you to reply. I thought you'd just be... I wasn't sure whether you were just doing YouTube only, and therefore, as you know probably just as much as I do, that it takes an awful lot of your time up, and I just thought you'd be just receiving requests all day long and think, oh, not another one, or just simply didn't have time to look at your emails.
No, I actually don't get that many collaboration requests.
Well, that's surprising, because I really did think you really would. So right, okay. So yeah, just to let you know though, folks, for listening to this, there is no under the table golden handshakes. There's no payment here. Like I say, Bogey Dope is just out of the kindness of his heart, just literally giving up time to do this. Well, it seems fitting for this video to have you here now, because I consider you to be one of the best DCS content creators out there for two reasons. I think your channel is a golden example of what I said earlier about providing your viewers with a service, entertaining them or informing them, and you seem to do both really well. And the other reason, of course, is that numbers don't lie. You've nearly got 66,000 subscribers with a healthy average viewing number. Some of your videos are well over 40,000 views, and in fact I think when I did your videos in order of highest views, you've got 162,000 views for one of them. More recent ones, your average, is around about 60k or so. So you've got a total of 11.5 million views in, and that's just, to be honest, that's just mind-blowing. It's something I wish I would absolutely love to have, and you must feel quite proud of that.
I don't know. I mean, I never expected it to grow that much. So I mean, it's really awesome, and I hope that I'm helping the community out. That's really the goal on my channel. So it's good to see the growth. I guess it just proves that found something that was needed.
Yeah, I say the numbers, do not lie, and I mean, that is just 162,000 views. I mean, do you see that number and think, geez, that's impressive?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Because it is. I mean, how long would you say you've been making DCS videos? Because YouTube says that you joined in 2016, but I guess that doesn't actually mean that's how long you've been creating them for. So yeah, how long have you been properly into the whole DCS videos?
I think I'm at just over 3 or 4 years, something like that. I think I started in 2021, I think.
So just
So,
after
yeah.
the pandemic, then, just after the
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that anything to do with you doing DCS videos? Was it, or is that just purely coincidental?
It's purely coincidental. I mean, me spending more time in DCS was definitely because of the lockdown and stuff, but making videos was just it's something that I wanted to do.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Now, here's the thing. You and I briefly spoke, as I said earlier, in preparation for this video. Having explained to the viewers the importance of managing their expectations, particularly when it comes to YouTube payments, it was interesting to learn that you decided not to take part in the YouTube partner program. Why was that?
I had a couple reasons. I didn't like that. It didn't seem to me that you had as much control over ads, what is shown to your viewers. I think you do have a little bit of control, but the algorithm kind of takes over after that, and so I didn't really like that. Plus, I didn't like the idea of being in the middle of a tutorial and saying something like, on step 1, step 2, step 3, do this, do that, and whatever you do, don't ever, and then boom, straight to an ad for I don't know, a Toyota Prius or something ridiculous. So I didn't like that, and I hated it when that happened to me when I'm watching a tutorial or something on YouTube and an ad just interrupts what I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to learn. So yeah, that, and I mean, I also didn't see the purpose in the beginning of turning on ads and paying taxes on, $20 a year. So
yeah, it's quite shocking, and that's and for me it was a video I thought about doing for a while now, because I mean, not that I had thousands of messages, but enough messages from people to make me think, there really does seem a misconception there about earning mega bucks on YouTube, and really you've got to be like, you've got to have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views average to make anything worth significant. But just from YouTube, mind you. But I've noticed.
Yeah, I guess I kind of exaggerated when I said 20 a year. I'm
yeah.
Sure I'd probably make $20 a month right now. I don't know for sure. I've never turned it on, so I wouldn't know. But I don't think it's a lot.
No, it isn't. I mean, I did last year. I would be lying if I got the dates. So just as a rough example, I did really well in viewing numbers for my channel, at least. I mean, really well in November and early December, and so I think I got, I'm not sure if it was after, so around about £80. So that's probably about $110, isn't it? Something like that. But they were, for me at least anyway, unusual numbers. They're not my average numbers. They were just two hot topics that just seemed to get the views, and before that and after that I've not done anywhere near as good. So, but anyway,
I think that the thing that's important for those that don't know is it's about views, not subscribers. So you could have 1 million subscribers, but if you're not getting the views, you're not getting money. So
yeah.
If I've got 1 million views and only 10 subscribers, that's where the money comes, is from the views. Every ad that is shown is money. It's only a couple cents, but it's money.
Yeah, and I think the idea about the subscribing things is the fact that you're more likely to get people to watch the videos. But yeah, you're right. So and also though, I noticed that you don't do memberships and you don't do any Patreon either. So was that a decision based on your available time, or some other reason you avoided doing it?
Yeah, available time is a big one, because I would feel bad to offer a membership that doesn't really give you anything, right? So you got to have something that you offer for a membership or a Patreon. People are paying you money. You should offer something in return. And this isn't my job. I have an actual job that a 9 to 5 every day, and so I don't really have a lot of time to spend making extra content for memberships, and so I haven't offered that yet. Maybe someday when I have more time, maybe, but right now I don't really have the time to offer any more than what I'm already doing. And
Yeah.
even now, I mean, what last time I posted a video was like a month ago, so I just when I have time, I try to post, and sometimes I just don't have a lot of time. And I can only imagine someone who's got a membership and it's been a month since I've done anything. It's like, what the heck am I paying you for? So
Yeah. It was something I briefly looked at, and I thought, how am I going to do this? And I did think about. It wasn't so much thinking about ideas. I could think of loads of ideas that I thought would be of benefit to my members. But as you say, you're effectively working twice as hard to develop two lots of content, a week or however often you post. So yeah, it just yeah. So and why not the Patreon?
same thing. I don't know. I just haven't done it. Honestly, I don't know too much about Patreon. That's my problem. I haven't really looked into it too much.
Right. Okay. Well, I briefly did, but again, similar sort of thing to the membership. As you said, you've got to. I think that they have packages, don't they, where you. Yeah. So you've got to be seen to be at least offering something beneficial for your members. Yeah. So, and the only thing I do on that front is to buy me a coffee, and it even though you don't seem to get anything, but then occasionally you just get some really generous, kind person that just out of the blue just comes and does something that just leaves you sort of speechless. But yeah, I guess to buy me a coffee, you could give that a go. You never know.
Yeah, since talking to you about that, I'm considering doing that. I think that'd be really cool, and any money that I did get out of that would help me with some of my videos, because I've spent quite a bit of money on, like, if I'm reviewing a map or something. I buy the map, or if I make a cinematic, I pay for the licensing for the music in the cinematic, which can get upwards of $50 and $60. So it'd be nice that if I had that, if someone bought me a coffee or whatever, I could put that towards the next music license or something,
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, because I was speaking to a friend of mine who has been really, really helpful to me, very encouraging, and when I said to him that I might be able to get an interview with Bogey Dope, and he almost spat his coffee out, and he went, Bogey Dope? And he was like, he's my favourite DCS, and he said, sorry, you're a close second, Captain Carl. But yeah, so you will have your fans, and and people clearly are watching your content. So if they think that they can keep you going towards you buying the next map and whatnot, you might be surprised. I mean, I think ultimately though, if you've got one and nobody's donating, then you've not lost anything, have you?
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. Oh, well, on the subject of money, time obviously is the alternative, so I'd love to know, and I think some people might as well, is how Bogey Dope puts his videos together from conception to completion. This is one I'm really, really keen to learn, because I think we all have our own ways of doing things, don't we? But, I'd love to know how you do it. So, just to give you an example, for me, a typical video will take me around a week, something like that to make, sometimes long, sometimes shorter, about 7 hours a day, something like that, and maybe occasionally bits over the weekend. The dogfight ones I did were around 4 to 5 days. They're a little bit quicker, but the hardware review ones, they take a lot longer, because obviously I'm trying to work them out, make notes and stuff, and just double check my statements to make sure I'm not completely lying to my viewers. Don't tend to write a script, if I'm honest, so don't tend to do that either. But yeah, I just wondered, how do you tackle, well, first of all, how do you come up with the idea? And then what do you do in terms of getting it all made from like the dream to the actual, finished product?
So that's a good question. So it's different for the different types of videos I make. I do tutorials, I do cinematics, and I do reviews and things like that. So as far as like a cinematic goes, I could be at the grocery store or watching a movie and get inspired, or just have an idea at a grocery store that just pops in my head. Oh, that would be a great idea. That'd be a cool shot or something like that. And I'll come home and I'll either write it down, the idea, so I don't forget, and then I'll try and reenact that in DCS and get footage of it. One of my more popular videos was the max power video, where it's the max power switch in the F-16. And I got this. It's not really an idea that came into my head. I've had that idea since I was a crew chief at Luke Air Base, and we talked about the max power switch during training and what it used to do in the old Pratt & Whitney motors, and we all talked about it, and I had this fantasy in my head of what it must be like, which I know, and I admit in the description of that video that that's obviously not realistic, but it's how everyone imagines it. But I knew that it would be a cool video, a cool sequence, and so I reenacted that. And so for an example of how I did that, I spent, I don't even know how many hours in DCS single player. I set up an SA2 site and just kept having it launch on me, and me, having it chase me around the sky and trying to get the best shot. And I actually did not intend on getting that shot where the missile is right behind me, and I'm just past the speed of sound. I think I'm Mach 1.1 or something, which is where you need to be to use the max power switch. And so I thought, okay, I thought about doing it just over and over, trying to get a shot where it blew up within visual range. You could see it, give up and blow up. But that shot in the scene there, in the sequence where it's like right behind me, that was not intended. That just happened. And so I was like, this is perfect. So
Yes.
I just took that video and ran with it, and thank God the replay system, because I replayed it like 4 or 5 times, and got as many angles and different shots and perspectives that I could get of that one scene, and then put the best ones into the video. But that wasn't intended. And you can tell because as some people have already caught, my centerline fuel tank is gone and then reappears on the jet. And that's because of the multiple sequences and shots that I had taken. The one where the centerline is on there was actually taken prior to the time I was using the emergency jettison. So it's kind of a mess, but it worked, and I was happy with it. For tutorials, I will, if it's something that I'm unfamiliar with, in like a different jet or something like that, I will go through the procedure in the book and make sure that I understand it. I'll practice it, 5 times and make sure that I've understood it and that it's working properly, that I'm doing it right. And then what I do, because of the nature of my channel, is I then start cheating. I start trying to find things I don't need. Well, you don't need that system. Oh, you don't need to turn this on. That's extra, that's laser ranging. I don't really need that. I can just shoot the gun. You don't have to do all these extra steps. And I try to break it down to be as simple as possible, which is not how you do it in real life, but it gets it gets it down to be easy and simple for those guys that are new. And then from there, you can, after watching my video and learning how to shoot the gun, you can watch other people's videos out there on how to do it even more detailed. You can turn on laser ranging and use the system more realistically. But my videos, the whole purpose of my channel is to try to make things digestible for newer players, or players that I don't care about. If I'm one of these, some of these players, they don't care about real life procedures. I don't care about all that. I just want to get the thing in the air and have fun, right? So that's the purpose of my channel. So I'll try to, once I understand something for another airframe, is I'll try and break it down and get it even simpler, and then I'll make a tutorial off of that. Like you, I don't really write scripts unless I have to.
Yeah, there's a couple of, when I think I did I'm guessing you probably do the same. If something's a little bit tricky and you could easily give the impression that you mean something when actually you meant something else,
right,
then I might just write that one down just to make sure I say it right. But otherwise, and I think that's part of the reason why before I started doing my own DCS videos, I'd have watched yours and a few other ones as well, and I do like that natural kind of talking rather than, because I think you can tell when people are actually reading something.
Exactly.
Yeah, not that there's not saying that any DCS guys out there, content creators out
There's
there.
nothing wrong with it.
No,
Yeah.
no, but it's just something that I quite like personally. So and it was something I noticed that you do, and I quite like the way you do it. So that was good. Just for people having listened to this, they might think, what video is he referring to with the max power switch? I want to see that now.
Oh yeah.
What do you know the name of that one?
I think it's actually called Max Power. Yeah, it's called F16 Block 25 PNW, which is Pratt & Whitney Max Power Switch DCS. That's the title.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, because whenever you talk about these things, particularly when you're referring to a video, I think people sort of think, oh, I want to see that. Right. So what question here we've got? Oh, yeah. So what software is it that you use then? Because I know there's so many choices. People talk about DaVinci, they talk about CapCut, they talk about Premiere. So what is it that you use?
So for the first, only until just the last 6 months, I have always used Adobe products. So I did Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects. After Effects for my motion graphics, like my logo and things like that, and then Premiere Pro for the actual editing of the videos themselves. But as you know, Adobe requires a subscription.
Yeah.
They didn't always require that. It used to be you could buy the Creative Suite and that was yours forever. You just pay once and it's yours.
Yeah.
And the last one was 5.5 or 6, and I bought 5.5, and I've been using that ever since 2010 or something. And every time that you do an F disk on your computer, you lose one of those licenses.
Right.
And I eventually got to the max number of licenses I had used, and I couldn't undo the license because their license managing server is shut down. It's 10 years old. They got rid of it, and so I'm screwed, and I couldn't use Adobe anymore, and I refused to use their subscription model, so I switched to DaVinci. So for the last 6 months, I've been using DaVinci, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I still After Effects. Oh my God, that is a complicated piece of software. That is.
I love it.
Well, your logo. Yeah, nice little. That's yours, isn't it? That's your creation, everything.
Yeah, I created the 3D model and the animation and all that. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Right, okay, so moving on then. Do you have a moment in your video where something amazing happens and you get a little buzz and a focus on that moment, and you bring it out a little more, meaning you highlight perhaps or go into slow-mo or something? So is there something that, I mean, you alluded to it earlier actually, where something... Yeah, and then do you capitalize on that and then, and change the way that you filmed it?
Absolutely. If something like that happens, like for example the Max Power, that getting that SA2 so close to me and then having it, chase me right there, that wasn't intended. And when it happened, I was so excited and made a point of getting many views of it, or different camera views of it, and recording it. So that's one example. If something happens that wasn't intended or just looks cool, I try to highlight it in the video. But I don't do a lot of that though. Usually most of my videos are tutorials, so most of it's expected. What happens is expected.
Yeah.
I don't really have But for cinematics, every once in a while, something will happen, and I'll definitely try to capitalize on that.
I tell you, you're just saying that you get a buzz out of it. I'm glad that I'm not alone, because there are. Would you say for you it's the driving force for doing these videos? Because it is a lot of hard work. I don't know if people who perhaps have never done this, have not done their own DCS YouTube video or whatever, but I mean, okay, it can take seconds to film something. You just hit record, fly into the ground or something, and then the video's done. There's no effort there. But when you're trying to put it together and you're trying to create something, it is a lot of hard work, pleasurable work, but hard work. So would you say that the driving force for you to make these videos is when you do get those moments and you have completed a piece of work and you look at it and take some satisfaction from that?
When it comes to cinematics, absolutely.
Yeah.
I get a lot of satisfaction of just watching it myself.
Yeah.
When it all comes together and the dream becomes reality, something that you've been imagining and fantasizing in your head, and you're able to actually get it out on a video, that's awesome. It's so much fun, especially if it actually works out. I can't tell you how many times I've had an idea in my head, and I've tried to make it work, and it just didn't work. There's a lot of videos that they'll never see the light of day because I got to the point where I was like, this isn't working. This does not look the way I wanted it, and I just scrap it and move on and do something else. But yeah, for cinematics, absolutely. For the rest of my tutorial videos, which is the majority of my stuff, the reason that, like, what keeps me going is when people say, when I see in forums or in Discord or on Facebook, people post something, I say, this really helped me, or this has helped a bunch of my friends, or whatever. That really keeps me motivated.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling, isn't it, to know that you've actually helped someone, you know.
Yeah.
But out of all the videos you've done, which one would you say is your favourite one? Which is the one that, for whatever reason, you're really happy with it? Which one's your favourite?
Max Power was definitely my surprising favorite, where I didn't expect that, and it just ended up awesome. I was really happy with it. But the video that I think that I put the most effort in, and that I enjoyed making and watching even myself, was my F-16 cinematic Viper. That was, I put a lot of passion into that one, so that's probably my favorite one.
So I think what we've basically established, haven't we, that clearly this is your hobby, isn't it? And I guess you do this out in your own time, outside of working hours.
I did. For many years, I would make videos before YouTube was a thing. Back in pre-2010, I would make videos in high school, just as a kid, just making videos with a camcorder and having fun. And it's just been a hobby of mine my whole life. But that's something I wanted to mention to your viewers, and maybe even to you, is I've noticed, and I don't know if this is the case for you, but for me, it seems like more often than not, the video that you put the most effort in usually is the one that doesn't get as many views. And it always seems to me to be the one I put the least effort in that gets the most views, or the one that I just threw together. I swear I've done that before, where I'm like, I put so much effort into this tutorial or to this review or something. I spent hours and hours and a couple weeks on one video, and then I post it and it gets, no one cares. But then
I know.
the one that I just slapped together, it's been a couple weeks, I need to get something out, I'll just get this done. That one gets 10,000 views in the first week. What on earth is going on?
I know. I have to say I haven't been able to work it out myself. I don't know whether it's a timing thing, or whether
it might be.
Yeah, I was really disheartened and disappointed with which one was it now? The one. So, right. So yeah, I tried to tantalize people with the. So it was this year, the F-22 video. So I did the soundtrack to that. It's the first time I've ever put any audio stuff together. So it was individual sounds and putting them in a sort of spooky sequence. Obviously, I did the promo. F-22, and lovely kind words and everything, and because I used the word promo, I thought, well, that's why it didn't get the views. It only had a few hundred views, but that's okay, because I'll do the main one, and that obviously that sequence will form part of it. So the main videos, hey, it's dogfighting, it's F-22, it's bound to do well, and no. Didn't do well. It's just as simple as that. Maybe just because you'll know this should resonate, but just for the listeners, it's not as if you get hundreds of thousands of views, but then when you look at the analytics, you see that people are quitting 10 seconds in.
Yes.
So only having, say, 400 views, but nearly all of the people are actually watching nearly all of it. So it's weird that for some reason people just didn't click on the video. So it's hard to know whether the video was just trash, so if I had high numbers but everyone was leaving within 10 seconds, then you'd just, or 30 seconds or something, then obviously nobody's interested. But to actually have your viewers watch the whole thing, but nobody's viewing it, so what does that mean? Does that mean just bad timing, bad thumbnail, bad title? It's really hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have the same thing on my videos. Even in tutorials, I can see where more viewers are watching and less viewers are watching, and so you can see which things they're looking for. And cinematics, it's you can see where people agree with you on what you think was more exciting in that cinematic, because it'll spike in that at
Yeah,
that scene
yeah.
or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know if there's times where, like you said, you'll see it dropped off 10 seconds in, and it's like a 5-minute video.
Yeah, yeah. It's just very, very strange. I mean, do you use TikTok at all? Because
No, I don't.
Right, because that's a platform that is a completely different beast to YouTube. I just assumed it was the same thing, but you know the demographics there—they're all young kids, and they just swipe it. So if you don't have an explosion or some bullets
Yes.
or missiles within the first 2 or 3 seconds, just forget it.
Yeah, it's actually the reason. If you'll notice, there's a lot of videos out there where the beginning of the video they show like the most exciting portion of the entire video. At the very beginning, the first few seconds is that,
Yeah.
and then they do a 5 minutes earlier type cutaway and goes back to the beginning of what they were doing, and then you have to like watch the whole video to get to that really exciting piece.
Yeah.
It's to grab people's attention, because otherwise they'll click away. And
Yeah.
I think that's the reason that shorts are becoming such a big deal now. No one really has the attention span anymore for for a 5-minute tutorial or a video. So they want it really fast, which is honestly kind of a sellout in that sense, because I didn't switch, but I started using that tactic and using my 60-second tutorials to kind of help with that, because I was noticing exactly what you were seeing is people just, I'm talking too much or whatever it is during a 5-6 minute tutorial. So I tried to shrink it down for 60-second tutorials and put them into shorts, and that seemed to do pretty well, and people really enjoy that. Although it is very frustrating because it's only 60 seconds, I can't explain everything.
Yeah.
And so I get a lot of comments like, well, how does this work, or why do you got to do that? And like, well, then if you need that, go watch my 5-minute tutorial. I got a lot more detail there. This is all I can do in 60 seconds.
No, I know, and apparently as well, I did something that I basically show a few, like you just said earlier about showing some highlights later on in the video. I show it in the beginning, and apparently my daughter said to me that it's a technique, foreshadowing. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
So
yes.
I must be, I know I'm getting on a bit, but never even heard of it, and I guess.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I know, and I don't know, maybe, and perhaps I'm going to learn something now, but perhaps that technique has been out for donkey's years. It's just that I'm just so out of touch. Yeah, and to be honest though, have you found it's changed the style of the way you'd like to do the video? Because, I'd love to do slow pans and take like 5 minutes for an intro, but I just know that's just not going to work. I mean, that's what I enjoy and the style I like, but do you find it's you constantly having to tell yourself to keep something shorter, or tell yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I tend to talk. I'll just go on and on. So you'll notice in my videos, for those of you who've watched them, that my voice is cut. I'll cut audio here and there, and it's because I'm saying in the middle of me talking, which I'm sure I've said a lot during this interview, or
yeah.
these filler words,
Yeah.
or just silence, and I cut all that out to make I just said so to make the video a little quicker, and also to cut it out, because there's I say that a lot, but yeah.
I know. I think I must, on average, cut out about 100 ums and ers.
Yeah.
in a 60-second short.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So obviously you're currently working then. So what is it that keeps Bogey Dope away from his family? What is it you're doing now?
As far as work goes, like actual job.
Yeah.
I work for a identity management. I work on an identity management system, basically. So when people go up to a computer, they authenticate to the computer, and the system that I work on knows who you are and knows.
I knew it would be techie.
What
I
you're
knew it.
supposed to be doing.
I
Yeah.
knew it would be techie. I just had this. I knew it was going to be something in IT, and yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. So. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of part 1. We will continue this conversation in part 2. Lots to cover in the next video, and you won't want to miss that one. So thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you in part 2.